Since the release of Rogue One and its accompanying guides, the Temple of the Kyber has remained one of the more interesting but unknown aspects within the canon lore. Also known as the Temple of the Wills, we know that it was a sacred place for those who followed the teachings of the Church of the Force, Disciples of the Wills, and Guardians of the Wills. But with the recently released issue number 3 of the Galaxy's Edge comic, we now have some actual visuals from inside the temple, as well as some Jedi artifacts that may provide interesting connections to the ancient Jedi Order within canon. The scenes featuring the Temple of the Kyber that take place during the early Imperial era, before it was destroyed by the Death Star, are actually provided through a story given by Hondo Ohnaka, decades after the Galactic Civil War. A team of relic hunters, particularly interested in an ancient Sith artifact, were looking to hire Hondo as a pilot to run the First Order blockade of the planet Batuu once they acquired the artifact. To prove his worth as a pilot, Hondo recounted a mission he accomplished decades earlier, where he helped a relic hunter named Dok-Ondar steal a relic from the Temple of the Kyber on Jedha, and then ran an Imperial blockade. Hondo's story shows the pirate and Dok-Ondar entering the temple, only to be confronted by a Guardian of the Wills. This first scene gives us an actual visual of the interior of the temple, with stone walls appearing to be built around a cave. But importantly, we see numerous large configurations of green Kyber crystals, immediately demonstrating why the Empire was interested in the moon of Jedha in the construction of the Death Star. A further interesting aspect is that the Kyber crystals are massive compared to those found within the crystal caves of Ilum seen within the Clone Wars TV series, explaining why these Kyber crystals were more prized as weapons for the Empire than lightsabers for the Jedi. Eventually, Hondo and Dok-Ondar would begin fighting the Guardians, dispatching a few of them before Chirrut himself showed up to thwart the heist planned by the two intruders. But more importantly for our video here is the relic that was found by Dok-Ondar. The issue shows that the relic was a statue carved from and within a large Kyber crystal, depicting a robed male wielding a lightsaber and battling a creature appearing to be a mixture of a dragon and a snake. The figure in the statue brings forth connections to the fallen ruins of a larger statue on Jedha seen within Rogue One, with the robes, hood, and lightsaber all sharing similarities between them. Thanks to the knowledge of Dok-Ondar, it's estimated the statue was at least 2,000 years old, and was carved by a Jedi sculptor using a lightsaber. The information again leaves no doubt about the connections between Jedha, the Kyber Temple, and the ancient Jedi Order. Although the moon fell out of favor with the Jedi by the era of the films, it clearly had importance millennia earlier. The Ithorian ultimately used the lightsaber of Ki-Adi-Mundi, which we saw how he obtained in the previous issue following the Clone War, to cut the statue from the Kyber crystal. Because it was one of literally 2,304 similar statues lining the tunnels of the temple, Chirrut allowed them to leave with the Jedi relic, where Hondo then successfully ran the Imperial blockade of Jedha. The issue's interesting not only because we get to see the interior of the temple and the Jedi that might be connected to the ruins. The fact that the Jedi in the statue is battling what is seemingly a type of dragon is potentially very informative, especially if we start incorporating Legends lore. In Legends, dragons were significantly connected to the dark side of the Force. There was a species of dragons known as the Hissis, or dark side dragon. The bite of these dragons had the ability to turn that individual to the dark side. Originating on the planet of Ambria, a planet fans of the Darth Bane trilogy will recognize, these dragons would later become a feature on planets strong in the dark side, such as Korriban and Vision. One of my favorite dark side depictions within the Episode 3 novelization is also connected to dragons. Not the Hissis in this case, but a creature known as the Sun Dragon, named for the belief that they resided within stars. In the novelization, the Sun Dragon becomes the personification of Anakin's internal dark side, his fear of losing Padme, and the weakness he has through his inability to save her. In fact, the dragon element is so crucial to the story that when Anakin falls to become Darth Vader, he believed he crushed and silenced the dragon within him, having chosen the strength of the dark side. These, of course, are Legends elements, but they make for very interesting connections if used in canon. It's no secret in canon that the history of the Jedi and the moon of Jedha are connected. The Rogue One visual guide directly tells us as much, with it likely being the Jedi Order that gave the moon its name. However, although we haven't seen any direct answers in this regard, I believe there was a natural migration of the ancient Jedi Order from their birthplace in the unknown regions upon Ahch-To into the known galaxy through the moon of Jedha. If we look at the canon maps provided in the Galactic Maps and Atlas guide and the Last Jedi visual guide, Jedha is a moon in the mid-rim, yes, but it is one of the most western locations within the known galaxy at this point, with Ahch-To being west of it within the unknown regions. We know that the initial access to Jedha was through ancient hyperspace routes that fell out of favor over the millennia, leading to the moon's isolation and relevance only really as a spiritual enclave. Therefore, I believe there was a natural migration of early Jedi from Ahch-To to Jedha, bringing the Order into the known galaxy. But at the same time, there was a significant evolution over the centuries, one that if we take a very Thrawn-like approach is represented here in the Art of the Jedi. On Ahch-To, the place of the first Jedi, the mosaic within their first temple is of the Prime Jedi in a state of meditation and balance, equally between the light and dark. The lightsaber isn't a weapon, but an extension of the Jedi's balance. But the Jedi relic within the Temple of the Kyber is very different. The Jedi is not in a state of meditation, but just the opposite, more of a guardian and defender figure. And if we incorporate the Legends elements, they're warriors of the light fighting against the dark side. It's a fascinating evolution from the Jedi of the unknown regions to the Jedi of the known galaxy. It perfectly differentiates the early Jedi to what it eventually became, as symbolized by the Jedi Order of the films. Jedi that fell out of balance with the Force to become mere warriors of the light and guardians not of the Force but of the Republic, and really, the Jedi Order itself. So there we have it, what was inside the Temple of the Kyber and some interesting connections to the ancient Jedi Order. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter @SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... for connections that would have made sense in episode 8.